Hey everyone, and welcome to another explainer. I'm really pumped to have you here today because we're going to look at something that honestly completely transforms the way you communicate. We are mastering the past continuous tense. But look, instead of treating this as just some dry, boring grammar rule you have to memorize, we're going to treat it as the ultimate storyteller's toolkit. This right here, this is the secret to making your spoken English not just technically correct, but actually captivating. So let me ask you something right off the bat. Do you want to tell better stories? Think about it for a second. When you're recounting something that happened, do you really want to just list off a series of robotic, isolated events? I went to the store, I bought milk, I came home. I mean, sure, it gets the job done, but it's totally flat, right? It lacks life. Wouldn't you rather explain situations more dynamically? Pull your listener right into the moment, show them the scenery, the action, the sudden surprises. Moving beyond those basic, single actions is exactly how you bring your stories to life. And that is exactly what we're doing today. We are leveling up. In beginner lessons, you probably already figured out how to describe simple, single actions in the past. But today, we're bridging that gap and stepping firmly into intermediate territory. We're going to learn how to actively interrogate the past by asking specific questions, and more importantly, how to combine different actions to weave a really compelling narrative. Okay, let's dive straight in. Section 1, asking past continuous questions. So before we can tell a great story, we kind of need to know how to ask about one, right? If you want to find out what was happening behind the scenes at a specific moment in the past, forming these questions is honestly like a super simple math equation. It's all about mechanics. Take a look at step 1. We start with a totally basic statement. He was studying. We've got our subject, he, and our helper verb, was. Now look at step 2 to see the transformation. To turn this into a yes or no question, you literally just swap the subject and that helper verb. The was jumps to the front, the he slides right into second place, and suddenly you've got, was he studying? It is such a direct, elegant swap. You don't need to add any complicated new words, you're just rearranging the furniture a little bit. Let's do one more quick one just to lock this straightforward swap rule into our brains. Our statement here is, they were driving. Plural subject, they, plural helper verb, were. If you want to ask someone about this, what do? You do the swap. Were they driving? Getting a solid grip on this foundational concept is absolutely crucial because it's what lets you actively participate in conversations and extract all those juicy details you need from other people's stories. All right, moving on to section 2, and this is a big one, interrupted actions using when. Now that we've got the questions down, let's get to the absolute climax of our storytelling toolkit. This right here is where the magic happens. If you want to know how to create tension, surprise, and drama in your everyday conversations, this is exactly how you do it. An interrupted action is actually the single most common way native English speakers use the past continuous tense. We use it to show that a longer action, something that was actively in progress, just taking its time, was suddenly abruptly stopped or interrupted by a much shorter action. I mean, think about how often our real-life plans get derailed. This grammar rule literally exists to express that exact feeling of annoyance or surprise. This setup brilliantly illustrates the tension I'm talking about. Over on the left side, we have our long action resting nice and comfortably in the past continuous. I was taking a shower. It's a smooth, drawn-out process. You're relaxing, the water's warm, all good. But then, on the right side, we've got our short interruption, sitting sharply in the past simple. The phone rang. It is punchy, it's sudden, it completely wrecks the piece of that long action. But right now, on the screen, they're just two separate thoughts sitting next to each other. So the real trick is how we bring them together. We need a bridge, and that bridge is the magic word when. Look at the sentence now. I was taking a shower when the phone rang. That single word when acts as the collision point. It takes that smooth, continuous action and just smashes the sudden interruption right into it, forging the whole thing into one perfectly dynamic sentence. You can instantly feel the shift in the momentum of the story. Now, here's a little pro tip regarding punctuation. We can actually flip the order of our story around for a slightly different rhythm, choosing to lead with the surprise instead. But, and this is super important, if we reverse the sentence to start with our short interruption, meaning we literally start the entire sentence with the word when, we absolutely must use a comma. When the phone rang, I was taking a shower. See that comma right there? It acts as a visual breath. It's this tiny pause holding the suspense before you reveal exactly what got interrupted. It's a small detail, but mastering it, that's what makes your written English look incredibly polished and native-like. Okay, let's lower the tension a bit for section 3, parallel actions using while. We've had our drama, we've had our sudden interruptions. Now we're moving into our third and final tool, where we learn how to set a much more peaceful scene. Parallel actions involve using the word while to describe two long actions that were happening at the exact same time. This is the tool we reach for when we want to paint a really broad, detailed picture of a specific moment. There are no sudden phone rings here, no interruptions. Instead, it lets us build a rich background setting for our stories, bringing harmony and atmosphere. Honestly, it's kind of like being a movie director, panning your camera across a room just to show the audience everything that was concurrently taking place. Notice how perfectly symmetrical these sentences are. Action 1 is in the past continuous, and action 2 is in the past continuous. They are happening perfectly in sync, connected right in the middle by the word while. Look at that first row. I was cooking dinner while my husband was watching TV. Two continuous ongoing processes harmoniously sharing the exact same time frame. Or the second row. They were studying while it was raining outside. With this, you aren't just stating facts anymore. You are actively setting a mood and a whole scene for your listener. And just like that, look at what you've achieved today. You now have the tools for interrogation, drama, and harmony in your English stories. I really want to emphasize that by going through this explainer today, you aren't just memorizing abstract grammar formulas to pass some test. You are quite literally unlocking a whole new level of expressive communication. You now have the power to ask dynamic questions, to thrill your listener with sudden interruptions, and to beautifully describe complex, layered scenes. You, my friend, are officially an intermediate storyteller. To wrap up our time together, I want to leave you with a bit of a challenge. I want you to immediately practice this new grammar toolkit in your own mind. Look at the question on the screen. What were you doing when you clicked on this explainer? Were you drinking coffee? Were you riding the bus? Form that interrupted action sentence in your head right now. Thank you so much for hanging out and unpacking this essential storytelling toolkit with me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.